Hello, welcome back to my channel, Scary Stories with Kyler. Today we're gonna start chapter episode 2 of season 2 of Stranger Things. Okay. Now things are not really going very well for Will to start the season. They are getting worse, you would say. Everything is going wrong for Mike. You know, he misses 11. He's acting out. And there's just a lot of stuff that happened between the first season and the second season, but we'll just go through it nice and slowly. So Will's mom has a boyfriend, Bob, and kind of a geek. He works at Radio Shack, and he teaches Jonathan how to work a camera, and Jonathan gives Will the camera, and Will, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas go trick-or-treating. And during the night, Will had this vision. He's been having visions of the Upside Down this whole entire time. And the first vision he got was they were in the arcade, and he goes outside because he had a vision of being in the Upside Down. So he goes outside, and there's a storm happening, and Mike comes out and finds him outside in the parking lot looking at the sky. And the second time he sees it is at his house. He goes outside the door and he looks, and he sees this thing has been called the Shadow Monster for a very long time in season 2. Last few seasons they were starting to call it the Mind Flayer. Now 11 kills the Demogorgon, right? And she vanishes. But whoever has not seen the show, what you don't know is that the Demogorgon actually traps her in the Upside Down. And she gets out and she goes back to Mike's house. And the government officials are at Mike's house, and she sees them talking to Mike. And Mike thinks he sees her through the window, and she takes off. And in all this time, you know, Mike is trying to contact her and seeing if she's alright or if she'll answer. Never answers. But she is there watching him. It's because she's been hiding with Chief Jim Hopper for this whole time. So there's that little piece of the story right there. Hopper and 11 are together. Kind of a father-daughter kind of scenario there. And Dustin and Lucas are trying to woo this new girl that moved into town. Her name is Max. Now, how Max first came up is that somebody in the arcade was beating Dustin's high scores, and this person's name was Mad Max. And a few days later in school, some girl came to their school named Max, and they're thinking, oh, this might be the Mad Max, you know. So they do a little investigating and find out that Max was Mad Max. She has this idiot brother Billy who's angry like all the time, and he's kind of a bad guy, especially in season 3, but season 3 is next week. So anyway, Steve Harrington, Nancy's boyfriend, you know, him and Nancy end up breaking up, you know, in episode 2, because they're at a party, Halloween party, getting drunk and stuff, and you know how alcohol they say it's a truth serum. Well, she told them the truth, you know. And they broke up that night. Nancy goes with Jonathan, Will's brother. And Dustin gets stuck with Dustin. And they are just like the funniest two characters in the world together. You never really thought that big bad Steve Harrington would end up with Dustin Henderson, funniest kid on the face of the earth, you know. And so they have a plan to go and beat well, first Dustin finds this little demodog in the trash at his home named Dart, and Dart keeps on growing. He eats Dustin's cat. He shoves it down into the basement. Steve comes and he brings the bat from the first season that knocked the Demogorgon senseless, and he goes down there, and the Demodog sheds its skin and it's loose. It burrowed through the wall into the forest. And there's thousands of these little Demodogs. See, the Mind Flayer is a hive mind kind of monster. The Mind Flayer is kind of like the Big Kahuna. It controls everything from the Demodogs to Will. And Will is possessed by the Mind Flayer. What they have to do is no easy task. First, 11 finds her mom because Hopper told her that her mom is dead. And so she goes and finds her mom, and her mom tells her to go find her sister, number 8. Now, as I said before, they were doing all kinds of mind control experiments, you know, telepathy, telekinesis, to all these people and they were experimented on. So it didn't surprise me when I first saw it that there was a number 8. You know, there could be a lot more numbers out there, but that's for another time if they decide to go that way with this show. Now, no, 11 finds her sister and she teaches her how to use her emotions to fuel basically her power, to make her stronger and stuff. and so she ends up moving a train car, and she realizes that the one place that was actually really her home was back in Hawkins with Hopper, you know, Mike, Lucas, Dustin, Will, and all them. So she hops back on a bus to Hawkins. Now, everybody is in the lab at this point. Hopper, Will, Joyce, and Bob. And the Demogorgons are breaking into the lab, killing everything in sight. And they decided that they're going to get out. So Bob volunteers to go and start the power back up so they can all leave. And Bob Manooby turns into a superhero. Well, anyway, they all escape unscathed, and Bob has to creep around the halls to get out so the Demogorgon doesn't get him. And Dr. Sam Owens, he's the new doctor at the lab. He's talking to Bob and telling him if the coast is clear, and Dr. Owens tells him to get into the closet. And Demodog passes, and he opens up the door, and the broom falls on the floor. And he runs towards the exit, and he stops, and he looks at Joyce, and he gets eaten. That's fun. No, not really. That's a shocker. That's so dumb. Why would you stop if you were like 50 feet away from being safe, you know? So they go back to Joyce's house, and they clear out the shed, and they wrap everything up in paper so he doesn't know where they are, because Will is basically a spy for the Mind Flayer at this point. And they're trying to get him to answer, to connect with him. But he looks so far gone, it's ridiculous. This is probably one of the more emotional scenes in the whole entire series. They're just trying to connect with him, but he's just too far gone, until Hopper realized that he's talking in Morse code. And they spell out what he's tapping, and it says, "Close the gate." Now, a bunch of Demodogs are coming to get him, you know, because Will found out where they were, so they were coming to get him. All of a sudden, a Demodog comes flying through the window, the neck is twisted, and everything. And who comes through the door but 11? Mike is all happy to see her. Everybody's shocked that she's alive and stuff. And of course, the most touching part is when when Mike and 11 see each other for the first time in about a year. And he never stopped trying to communicate with her. So he found out that Hopper was hiding her, and he got super pissed. And 11 looks at what they wrote down from Will, and it says close gate. Now, the whole entire point of this is that they gotta close that gate. But in order to close the gate, the Mind Flayer has to be out of Will, and the Mind Flayer is stuck in Will at this point. So they go to Hopper's cabin, and they basically burn it out of him. Dustin, Luke, Mike, Max, and Steve are down in these little tunnels that the Mind Flayer made. And there's this one particular spot where the Mind Flayer doesn't want anybody to see. So they go and they light that on fire. And so that helped get the monster out of Will. Now, since the monster's out of Will, 11 can finally close the gate. She closes the gate. Everything dies from the gate closing. You know, the Mind Flayer's gone, so we think, and the Demodogs are gone. You know, they're dead. A month flies by, and they're all at the snowball dance. And they're all dancing, having a great time. And 11 and Mike kiss Max, and Lucas kiss. Poor Dustin, he's on the side crying till Nancy comes, and he dances with Nancy. And the camera flips, and we're back in the Upside Down, and the Mind Flayer is watching over him this whole entire time. Okay, so that's the end of season 2. Now, season 2 is a lot bigger and cinematic than season 1. You know, there's a lot more stories in season 2 than there was in season 1. Season 1, you had Where's Will? You know, they find them in the Upside Down and stuff, and in this season, he's affected by the Mind Flayer, and they gotta get it out of him. And so that's the end of those talking about those 2 episodes. Now, season 3 is probably my favorite season out of all the Stranger Things season. But we will get into season 3 next week. And believe me, I saved the best for last. Okay, I will see you all next week, and please don't forget to to subscribe to my channel, like, watch, because I'm enjoying doing this. And I've seen you guys are watching all my videos, and I do greatly appreciate that. And so I will catch y'all later. Okay, bye.